had other interviews at other places where I could have gone into research doing exactly what I wanted to research. I could have studied Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. There was something about the University of Rochester that I just felt like it was home.
So then you get to graduate school here at School of Medicine and Dentistry, requested interviews with all faculty doing neuroscience research. Come to find out of the 4 interviewers, only one actually did that and was not taking students. So what was it like finding that out? You might now have to veer from the path a little bit.
So I was a little bit gutted, I think, at first. Actually, Bob was the only interviewer that was working on neuroscience work. And that year he had decided he wasn't going to be taking students. And I had other interviews at other places where I could have gone into research doing exactly what I wanted to research. I could have studied Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. There was something about the University of Rochester that I just felt like it was home. So I kind of had to rationalize with myself, well, I'm not necessarily going to be able to study exactly, the thing I thought I would be studying, but this is a training period. I'm going to get the tools, and then after graduate school, I'm going to go back to doing the thing, still working towards the path. But right now, I'm developing the tools that I need in order to do that. And so I kind of rationalized it to myself. It's like, this is just a detour in a way, but we'll get back to that. And this is really, still progressing towards that ultimate goal.
You mentioned University of Rochester feeling like home. Anything in particular make it stand out like that?
I think it was the people. I just felt like I fit among the students and also the faculty. I thought the faculty were really approachable that I had talked to during interview weekend. And I felt that the students, they had the right kind of similar mix that I had. They had lives, but they really were very serious about studying and doing research and what they wanted to do with their lives. And so I felt that resonated with me. More so than other places that I had gone to.
Well, ultimately, then you joined a lab of a gentleman by the name of Dr. Greg Tull, who eventually relocated, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that shifted your focus to G-protein coupled receptors. Not what you initially envisioned doing, but captured your attention somehow or a little bit. So how did you, stay engaged in those early years?
So that was actually probably my first exposure to starting to see science and another type of research that I was really excited about that wasn't this neuroscience and neurodegenerative research. The first time I had met with Greg, which actually he was one of my interviewers, we had talked about the research he was doing in his lab, and I remember just being really enthralled by just the type of research he was doing. The work that was being done in the lab and the work that I did during my thesis work was on this protein called RIC8, which is a chaperone that folds G-protein alpha subunits. And so the reason this protein is important is because it's what acts inside the cell after a G-protein coupled receptor is activated. And G-protein coupled receptors are targeted by 30% of FDA-approved pharmaceuticals. They're in pretty much any part of your body in physiology, and pretty much any disease you can think of has a GPCR either involved in its pathology or in the treatment of that disease. And so, again, I was doing kind of this rationalization. I was like, you know what? GPCRs are involved in neurodegenerative diseases or the treatment of it, so I'm not really veering away from my ultimate goal. I'm really kind of staying on the same track. It just doesn't look as straightforward. This whole time I'm kind of rationalizing this in my head. And I also felt that his lab, the group of people he had in the lab, really felt like family to me. We really fit together and had fun together and enjoyed each other's company and kind of had the same mindset. I think it was a very hardworking lab, but also had a lot of fun. And that was definitely appealing to me, and I could see that was a good training environment.